The only difference between the two, word and world, is an L. I'd like to think that's love. Anyway, who knew that we actually do create our worlds? You are the dictator of your own life. The word evil spelled backwards is live. And to turn your life around, you need to turn your words around. The Bible tells us the law, life and death are in the power of the tongue. And that doesn't mean you stick it out at people, obviously. That means you use the tongue to speak words. And it says, for by thy words thou shalt be justified, by thy words thou shalt be condemned. You literally sentence yourself with every word you speak. Throughout history and myth, the magical power of words has always been recognized. Abracadabra, open sesame, Rumpelstiltskin, Shazam, presto. Anybody else think of any other magical words?
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga.
Okay. But I mean, the words have always had a magical power. When you watch a movie, you know that movie is not real. What you see and hear is not real. But if the villain suddenly jumps out and grabs the victim and says, "Gotcha!" Do you jump? Do you react? Even though you know it's not real, it feels real at that moment because you react. What few of us realize is what we see and what we hear in our world is not really real either. It sure feels real. It really affects us. But our world is no more real than a movie. Jesus said 2,000 years ago, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And he also said, judge not by appearances, but judge righteous judgment. How many times we've heard these words, and really how very rarely have they been understood. Let's modernize them. That might help. Ye shall know the truth. This is the truth we have to know. There is one power, God the good. Nothing that is not good is real. Jesus said this to people like us because he knew they didn't know the truth because they weren't free. Most of us have something that is holding us back or holding us down, whether it be an illness or a job problem or a thin wallet or a lousy relationship. And so freedom means we have everything we desire in our life. So we're not free yet. But what will this knowledge free you from? From the virtual reality world that you have created with careless, ignorant, negative words and feelings. Don't believe what you see and hear. What appears on the screen of your world is not real. It's like a picture on a movie screen. It's projected by the machine of your own mind and spoken through your own mouth. The script has been written by your very words. You did it. So you can edit it, you can delete it, or you can rewrite your world anytime you realize the truth. There is no evil. Now, if that doesn't sound like the most absurd statement anyone has ever made. But things, they appear to be evil because they were manufactured, not created by God. Now, like any good movie producer, we have imagined the scenes and written the scripts with many of our words. Whatever we believe and whatever we say does appear solid to our five senses. Your words make your world, but there is no real external world. It all starts in the machine of your mind. It is all in your mind. You've heard the doctor say that occasionally. I hope not. It's all in your mind. And you think, I won't say what you thought, because I'm sure you're much nicer than I am. But it is all in your mind. Everything begins in mind. Every great thinker in history has declared the same truth, that the senses are liars. Everything is Maya. The world is an illusion. The information our five senses feeds us is false. Science now agrees that every atom, the building block of the universe, is not solid. It's all energy. And what causes energy to vibrate? Words, thoughts and feelings, things that come from us, our mind, and then through that to the mouth, and then out to your world. You really kind of spit it out. No wonder they say silence is golden. I was at lunch the other day with a group of women, and everyone had a little problem they wanted to discuss. And one girl said, "No organ recitals, please." Remember that one. The next time people start to drag your energy and your vibration rate down, just quietly say, "No organ recitals, please." And they tend to be quiet. They did shut up. But just look at the ocean. It certainly appears that one would fall off. Ever look at it? And it looks like it goes about that much, you're going to fall off. Okay. And the sun does appear to rise in the east and set in the west, but it's not the truth. What we see is based on the limitation of our senses, our five senses. There are so many more senses. As Ken said in his meditation, there are so many, the spiritual senses start to see so much more. What people have believed throughout evolution has always been reflected in their conversation, whether the words were spoken by savages around a fire or preachers in front of an audience in the medieval times or a TV news anchor today. Every scene shown during WXYZ World News is a projection of current world beliefs. But the truth of one period in time is the ignorance to the next period of time. I mean, how can those stupid people have thought the world was flat? Well, someday, guess what? In the slight future, the near future, they'll probably say, how could those people have ever believed in death? Can you believe it? Each of us individually speaks his or her personal world into existence because only we have access to our minds and our voice. No one else can do it to us. Nobody else can do it for us. So examine your words really carefully. If you've been saying, I can't afford that, you can't. Your words do make your world. But perhaps you've been programmed by parents and priests. I like the sound of the alliteration. It could be the synagogue or anything, okay? But then their beliefs and their words are still making your world if you have not changed your mind. And as long as man hates his brother, murder and war will be seen in the world of appearances. And as long as mankind believes good is limited, he'll continue to produce poverty. And as long as people believe life is limited, we will continue to produce death. As long as we believe we are only human, we will always have limitation in our lives. Jesus came to give us life more abundant. Life and death, as I said, are in the power of the tongue. And that's the law, and that's the truth. Each one of us has created the little evils we experience in our world. We project tragedy, and then we blame God for creating evil. It's all God's fault. Or it's God's will, negative things. In the older days, where we look back, everybody would say, oh, it's only God's will that I suffer. And, that really is it was a very sick feeling. But each word has a distinct vibration. Couldn't you feel it? Oh, it's only God's will. It's the ability to just not to do anything, but just to sit there and, slump. So every word has a distinct vibration. And every single word we speak takes either a form or an experience on the screen of our world. I love this. This was proved especially scientifically recently by Dr. Masaru Emoto of Japan in a very dramatic way. And I wish I had the ability right now to show you on the screen a picture that was in his book, The True Power of Water. Any of you read it? Yeah, wonderful book. When words of love and gratitude were spoken to water, it froze into a geometric, gorgeous, coherent pattern. When people sent hateful words and ugly words to the water, it froze into maimed, distorted, chaotic forms, ugly things. And we're 85% water. Imagine the damage we do to ourselves when we talk to ourselves and say, oh, how can you be so stupid? I know you've never said that, right? And to criticize somebody else, the things we say, oh boy, if they could do a little bit better, I could do better than that, These critical words come back to us. Remember, what you send out comes right back. And the teachers were right when they said, watch your mouth. And the generals were right when they said, loose lips sink ships. Order prisoners, make him talk. There are vital consequences to every word we speak. As far as I know, Jesus is the only one who ever said, I am the resurrection and the life. And coincidentally, he's the only one we know that ever rose from the dead. What powerful words he spoke. But what I love is he said that even greater things shall ye do. What would be greater than resurrection? Never dying. One day we'll all know what grace means. It means we've discovered that we're the God race. Grace. Today, if we went around saying, I am the resurrection and the life, our world is so confused that they would commit us to an asylum. The reality of death is so firmly entrenched in our culture. It has such a strong hold on our civilization that the truth sounds like the lie. The truth is the only thing that will free us from the power of the false. So choose only the words you want to see pictured in your life. The inverted use of our word power has created our virtual reality world. Good has always and forever been the only real. God created a perfect paradise, a perfect world. How did he do it? The Genesis program gave us the exact instructions. Genesis chapter 1. 9 times it says, and God said, and God said, and God said. Obviously, they knew that we weren't going to be paying much of attention. So it was repeated over and over, and we still didn't hear it. And God said. And then what did God say after he'd done it? He called it, it was good, and it was very good. Did you hear any bad in it? Did you hear any evil? Nope. What God created with his good words was only good. Never did God create evil. Remember, it was manufactured, not woman-manufactured. And he created us in his image. We also have the power to create with words, but we don't know it. So we use words that are bad and good. So our world is bad and good. But fortunately, we only create a virtual reality, not a permanent real world, even though it looks real to us. We're children practicing creation skills on scrap paper, so to speak. Someday we'll get it right. And that's why our world is temporal. It is a disposable world. Thank God. Otherwise, we would always have sin, ignorance, war, hate, fear, and death, and disease, hatred, resentment, all those negative things. So what is real? How do we recover paradise? By knowing the truth. And to reveal the truth, you have to first erase the lies. And that's what unity does with something they call denial. There is no evil. You have to say that a lot before you can believe that. And then you have to affirm the truth. It's all good, as the kids say now. It's all good. And they're right. They're right. It is all good. There's only one presence and one power. Suppose instead of saying, well, I'm only human, you could say, I am divine. I am life. Look how I stood. You notice I puffed up right away. The truth makes you do that. You feel different. I am beauty. Okay, you didn't have to laugh quite so hard. I am peace. I am plenty. I'm healthy. I'm eternal. Now, you may know that the words I am refer to the one presence. When people are asked who they are, what their name is, 7 billion people in the world say, I am. Think of that. 7 billion people will use those words, I am, never realizing that they are the one being. And before they separate into individuality by adding a predicate, everybody says the same thing. So I am refers to the one presence, being. I always wondered what Jesus meant when he said, I am the door. You know, I just couldn't see Jesus as a door. You know what I mean. And then one day it dawned on me. I thought, the words I am open the door to whatever follows those words. That's how powerful the words I am are. Remember this. I like this because I thought it all up myself. With every vibration, there's always manifestation. Woo, gave me chills. Maybe it doesn't affect you. It got me. I am rich attracts riches. I'm poor. That vibration, you notice the difference? I'm poor. It attracts, what do you think? Poverty. We have centuries of error behind us proving we're only human and we must die. And that sure looks like the truth. Everybody you know has probably died. But they all believe what most of us do, that death is absolutely inevitable. Jesus promised, ye shall know the truth and be free. The lies we have all believed is what we need to be free from. He saw through the world of appearances to heaven. Everything Jesus said was the opposite of what most people ever say, even today. 2,000 years later, it hasn't registered yet, but it's happening. It's all good. People are starting to get it. Things are changing. The next time you watch TV, realize that what you see in your world is just like TV. Except for one thing. You're the producer. You're the scriptwriter. You are the actor. So never say again, I am only human. I'm sick. Oh, and this is so hard not to say when you feel bad. I'm uneducated. I'll never get that job. Oh, I'm not good enough. And don't say it to yourself, because you're listening to yourself. That's the program of the lie. The more impossibly good your words are, the more probable it is that they are true. So don't go around saying, I'm divine, to other people. Don't cast your pearls in front of those swine. Swine refers to animal man, the unevolved man who has not yet recognized the spirit world. Because remember, spiritual things are really foolishness to the natural man. But you begin to know the truth and speak it when you're among those who are beginning to awaken now. Us, we can speak the truth. We won't laugh. We'll say, oh, really? And then we'll try to say it ourselves. Speak to your own powerful subconscious mind. Ask your superconscious mind, your Christ mind, to help you impress it with the truth, the words that will change your life. Remember, what you say is what you get. Remember the 3 wise monkeys, and I was going to bring them in today, but I brought them in before, and then one of them broke. Remember the monkeys? See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Whoever in the 8th century did that knew what they were talking about, or what they weren't talking about. Because we know now that words make worlds. And eventually we will succeed as we say only good, true things. And we will have a new heaven and a new earth. Your words make your world. Make it a good one. That's amen.